Kim Doyle, and this is intended to be a flow class, an align and flow class, get nice and juicy and get warmed up and then move into a flow class. The class itself will be 60 minutes, but I always schedule about 75 for the class because I'm hosting these on Facebook Live, which means I need to give everybody who wants to participate in class some time to hop on. So for the first 15 minutes of class, I'm usually doing a check-in, sharing a theme, talking about my personal life, whatever feels most aligned for me in the moment. And I'd love to hear from you guys. I see there's 4 of you that are watching today. I'd love to hear how you're doing. There's a lot happening in the world right now. I actually took a couple weeks off from teaching these online yoga classes and just really took some time for self-care. And then now I'm back and teaching and not quite yet into the swing of things. I woke up earlier than my alarm and was really excited, but then I went back to sleep. So I woke up like 10 minutes ago and threw my hair into a ponytail and have kind of a dingy white shirt on, and I'm just embracing my me-ness in this moment, and not worrying too much about, sometimes I like to wear really bright lipstick or big jewelry or really fun and crazy yoga clothes. And today I had a choice between feeling tired and overwhelmed and like I didn't want to do it because I didn't have time to get ready, and just showing up exactly as I am. And I think that's what we all can do for each other during these times. Some of us are still recovering from all of the changes that have happened because of COVID. There's a lot of financial hardship that is happening, which is why I'm offering these classes on a pay-what-you-can donation basis through Venmo or PayPal. Some people have sent me a check. If you'd like to pay my credit card or figure something else out, let me know. If you can't make a donation, please still take the class and share it with anyone that you think might benefit from it. And you can always offer a different form of energy exchange in the form of blessings, prayers, shout-outs, shares. Yeah, these are interesting times that we're going through. I tend to not post a lot of charged content through my social media outlets, although I did post when I felt really charged about a coaching program that I was in. Well, actually, about the trauma that I'm experiencing that was revealed to me through the coaching program that I'm in. And it was crazy. The first time I posted like angry, charged, and if you don't know what charged is, it has more to do with how you feel when you post than about the words themselves. So I was charged when I made that post, and it got like 200 comments. And it's like the algorithms want that kind of energy, that kind of and I'll share with you. Okay, so like I said, I take the first like 15 minutes to chat to give people time to hop on. So I'll share with you guys what I shared at dinner last night. I was with a group of friends that I've been with through the whole quarantine, and we do authentic sharing at our dinners. And it was just a check-in to hear how everyone's doing through all of this. And I had something come through that feels really important. So in my process of unpacking my trauma from when I was young, specifically from the first 2 weeks of my life, where I was in an incubator, I had a full blood transfusion, I was only touched during feeding times. I was like blindfolded and kind of poked and prodded and in this hospital institution. So I've been uncovering what that very early childhood trauma maybe has done to my system and my relationships. And it's like, we don't even remember what happened when we were 2 weeks old. Like, how could that actually affect us? But I just got like a hunch that it really did. And that's where I've been reading The Body Keeps the Score. I've been going through this coaching process. I've worked with someone on somatic experiencing. I've only had one session with her, but I'm really called to that modality. And actually, she's the one that told me that there is this thing that can happen to babies, because babies can't actually soothe themselves. They require touch and love to calm their central nervous system when it gets out of whack. But something can happen when babies are not soothed. They're left crying in their crib or a hospital for a long period of time, where their system, because it can't calm itself down, it will actually escalate and escalate and escalate and escalate until there's a complete collapse. And that just felt really resonant for me. I mean, you can ask my love, you know, there was a time when he's like the most calm and centered person ever, when I literally said, I want you to yell at me, because then I can get mad and feel better. And it was like I was very verbally asking for this kind of like escalate to collapse. And looking back through my relationships, how many times did that happen? So many. And then I look at what's happening in the world. And I read a post from one of my Facebook friends. If you're the one that wrote it, please let me know, because I can't remember. But this person was a teacher and just said, you know, when there are children in my class that are throwing things and smashing things and yelling, it's trauma. And they said it's our job to stop everything that we're doing and do whatever it takes to soothe that child, to calm that trauma response, in the same way that a mother would pick up a crying baby and soothe the baby. And when I look at what's happening in the state of the world, it's very obvious that on a macro level, the world is going through a trauma response. And knowing what I know now, it sounds like there are two options. Allow this to keep escalating and escalating and escalating until there's a total system collapse. Or step in as an outside force and soothe. Soothe your central nervous system. Hold someone that you love. Soothe their central nervous system. Meditate. Radiate peace. If you are going to the protests, just know that you have a choice as to what energy you are putting into what exists already. Is it the energy of escalating? Is it the energy of soothing? And there's actually no right or wrong answer. For years, escalate, collapse, escalate, collapse, escalate, collapse was how my central nervous system worked. That was actually an adaptation so that I could survive. And, you know, there's a lot of us that have wished for a total system collapse. But let it be a conscious choice. Let it be a conscious choice. Because that's where I got to the point in my personal relationship where it started to become a little bit conscious. I'm like, can we please just get in a fight and get it over with so I can just like, rah, and then lay in bed and cry and take a nap, you know. I was consciously asking for it, but it still wasn't a conscious choice. And now I'm at the point where I very consciously asked my lover to, if I start to get a little riled up, to soothe me as they would a 2-week-old baby. Hold me, speak softly, pet me. And I'm on my way to self-soothing, which feels like the most empowering choice. But I did ask for what I needed. So that's kind of a long-winded share about my take on what's going on in the world. And I would love to hear your feedback on this. Hi, Grant. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Chachi. Hi, Claudia. You guys are amazing. We're talking about trauma. and how the world is in a deep trauma response. And, you know, independent of how you choose to show up at the protests, if you're escalating or soothing, now is the time to do your own inner trauma work. Because really, when we heal ourselves, we heal the world. And I think everybody knows that on some level. And it's no mistake that I have been unpacking my trauma from childhood at this time, and then looking out the window and seeing a full temper tantrum trauma response in the world, you know. And calling it a trauma response is not a dig. It is a fact. I mean, what society has experienced is trauma. Specifically, what people of color have experienced is trauma after trauma after trauma. And then now I think society has experienced trauma of seeing the trauma. In the same way that for me, seeing my parents fight when I was a kid was super traumatic for me. Seeing a man die in the street is super traumatic. So in a way, it put us all on the same playing field, when there was a time where what we didn't see didn't exist. So, hi Megan. Oh yes, she says, I love everything you just said. Yeah. If you guys are curious about trauma work, you know, I definitely have some books that I can recommend. I'm in a book club called, for the book that's called The Body Keeps the Score, which is like the definitive book on trauma in our times. I have resources. There are a couple of somatic therapists that I can recommend to you. And the coaching program that I'm in is really amazing. It is a shortcut to releasing trauma. So if you're one of those people that's like, actually, my trauma was so fucking intense that I'm not going back there. Like, I'm not going to go to therapy and talk about it. I feel better not even thinking about it. I'm not going to call you a spiritual bypasser. I'm not going to do that. Because the bypassing it can be in the choosing to not heal. But if you are choosing to be healed and not go back into it, great. However, if it is still showing up in your life, if it is still affecting your ability to create the relationship that you love, the job that you love and supports you, the happy, healthy home life, the community support systems, if you have trauma that is too big for you to face head on, but is still blocking you from your dreams, please let me know. This coaching system that I'm working through, and you can look at my last post when I was in a trauma state, and I said a triggered post, 200 people commented, and everyone's like, fuck that guy. I am almost embarrassed at how well the system worked after I freaked out. And I'm still in the program, and things are going really good, and I'm about to make a follow-up post, and I can highly recommend this system. It is a system that will shortcut to healing. So I like both. I'm like a total nerd where I want to know what happened to me, how did it affect me on a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual level. You know, I think that I'm on my way to adding trauma to the list of things that I can help people heal through. So I really want to learn everything, and I want to know this shortcut, you know. But I probably could have done the whole healing practice without even understanding what I had been through. So anyways, I would love to share these resources with you guys. We are going to get started on some yoga. Hi, Emma. Chachi Mendoza says, I can attest to that. He has seen total transformation in me over the past couple of months that I've been in this program. I mean, he and I went through a total separation because I was in such a trauma state, and now we're able to be in each other's space, and it's fun and it's easy. because of healing the trauma. I see Laura Lou Love Light. Yes, hi lady. We just spent the past 10 minutes or so talking about how the world is in a trauma response right now. And there are two choices: escalate until total system collapse, or soothe. And I personally choose peace. I choose peace in my own system. I choose peace in my relationships. I choose peace in my community. I choose peace in my country. And I'm here to support anybody that is on this path to healing, especially at this point in time, as above, so below, as within, so without, as on the macro, also on the micro. This is a time of healing trauma. And I thought I was like super cool that I just like figured this out. And then I started looking, and there's a lot of coaches and leaders and speakers out there that are speaking about just this. You know, we get to heal as a collective. And if you pay attention to what is happening in and out, you will see the reflection. So we're about to start some yoga. For those of you that would like to join, grab a mat if you have one, if you haven't already. If you don't have a mat, you can still do the yoga on whatever floor you're on. I like to have like a little blanket under my feet. Sometimes I'll put it on my body at the end of class, and a couple of small pillows to sit on or lay on. And if you do have yoga blocks, you can grab those and have those handy. If you don't have yoga blocks and would like to purchase some, let me know. I can kind of guide you through that process. And I will also let you know a couple of announcements before we get started. If you are watching the replays and choosing to practice this kind of pay what you can donation-based yoga, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see your donations. I always put a little heart on the Venmo ones. I can't do that on PayPal. I'll try and send a personal note if I know who it is, and I just love and appreciate you all so much. And if you are watching the replays, please watch them through the YouTube channel. The link is in the description here, and it is, that's the best way for me to see how many people are actually taking the class. Because on Facebook, it'll show that 150 people watched, and I have a hunch that most people are just watching the introductions, which is great. That's why I use this as a little opportunity to start some discussion. But I would love to be able to track who's just doing the drop-in, who's taking the whole class, and I'm building my YouTube channel, looking to get some better recording equipment. And so if you're watching the replays, if you watch on YouTube, it helps me help you. And second announcement is I'm hosting a fire ceremony on Friday. It will be in person. So if you're in the Denver, Colorado area and would like to join that, please let me know if you're comfortable being around people, which I am at this point. I also am getting some requests for doing it virtually. So if you would like to be a part of a virtual fire ceremony, I'll have my phone and either do it on Zoom or Facebook Live, and you can either light a candle, or if you have a fire pit wherever you're at, even better. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Find your nice comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and back and down. Close the eyes. Just begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slow down the breath. And just notice the difference in how you feel when you're inhaling. Notice. And notice how you feel on the exhale. Specifically notice the speed of your heart as you inhale. Notice the speed of your heart as you exhale. So inhaling activates our sympathetic nervous system, actually our kind of action, energy, motivation. And exhaling activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation response, that calming, that soothing. So you can play around with this breath depending on what you need in this moment in time, or you can take longer inhales and short exhales. And just notice how you feel. The activation. And you can play around with short inhales and long exhales. And just notice how you feel. And again, there is no right or wrong. There is only conscious choice. Well, there's unconscious choice too. But what I'm calling to you, what I'm modeling for you, is consciously choosing how you participate in every moment of life. And in that same thread of conscious choice, I invite you to set an intention for your class today. Some positive word or phrase. Maybe you're working with an intention for the week or the month or even the year. But please set your intention and then bring the palms to press together at heart center. We'll begin the practice with 2 cleansing breaths and 1 Om. Allow the sound of your voice through this Om to fill your space. Allow it to set and cleanse your space, to set this place and time. 2 cleansing breaths and 1 Om, in through the nose and out through the mouth. This time sigh. This time Om. Gently begin to rub the hands together, create a little bit of heat and friction with the hands. And then place the hands over the eyes. Allow the heat of the hands to soften the face. Sneak in a smile. And gently flutter the eyes open and float the hands down. With the hands resting on the knees, we'll move through some circles with the body, and I just want to show you from the side that there's a little bit of cow pose that can happen here. So lifting the tailbone, press the heart forward, curving the spine in this way. Think of it as a seated cow pose. Let that be your inhale. And on an exhale, round. You can kind of grab onto the knees and use the knees to push the arms away, tuck the chin and round. So let's do a couple just like that. Inhale forward. And exhale around it back. Let's do two more. Last one. And come on up to seated. Let's go ahead and switch which foot you have in front or on top. So you're seated with that specific foot in front or on top for quite a while. Now we're going to do these circles, but we're going to hit those same points of the rounding forward or back. So grabbing a hold of the knees. Let's start in the clockwise direction. So forward, left and back, right, forward, left and back. And if you're sitting up on blocks, it might feel good to move them out of the way. And just work on some circles here. Big inhales. And exhales. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. I like to kind of press into the knees when I'm coming forward. It gives a nice hip stretch. And then use the knees to pull the hands as I'm coming back. Let's do 3 more. 2. Hi Carla. Thanks for joining. We're just getting started. Some gentle yoga here. Last one. And then continue the circles, just smaller here. Just the tailbone area. And just the diaphragm. Just the heart. Just the throat and the head. And just the third eye. Gentle spin, barely moving at all until you stop moving completely. And just feel the energy continue to flow. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, sigh it out. Flutter the eyes open, second side. So moving in the opposite direction. Inhale forward. Exhale, roll it back. Jenny Sun, hello, hello. Big inhales. And exhales. I'm drinking cacao right now, thinking of you. Just gentle yoga here to get our day started. Inhaling through. And exhale back. Hello, Emily. How are you? We're just getting started. Gentle yoga movements. Soothing the central nervous system. Deep breaths. Let's do 3 more. 2. Last one. And then slowly start to circle the upper body at the tailbone. And then the diaphragm. And the heart. And the head. Slowly bringing it to that third eye center, just a gentle spin until you find stillness, but notice the energy is still moving. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, sigh it out. Flutter the eyes open. Let's find your way into the tabletop position. You're welcome to use some padding under the knees if you choose. Knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. And from here, walking the hands forward about 1.5 hand lengths. We're going to do the same spiraling sensation this time through the hips. So hips back towards the heels, and on an inhale, hips swing right and forward. And exhale, left and back. And just feel into the edges of this movement. You get a little bit of a hip stretch when you go wide. As the shoulders come over the wrists, there's a slight engagement of the belly to protect the lower back. 3 more in this direction. Hello, Eliza. 2. Last one. And reverse directions. Inhale, left and forward. Exhale, right and back. Follow the breath. Three more. The biggest hip circles you can possibly take. 2. Last one. The next time you come forward, allow the hips to drop. Take a look over the right shoulder, roll the weight onto the left side. Inhale up through center. Take a look over the left shoulder, roll the weight onto the right side. And just kind of rock back and forth a couple of times. Big inhale. And exhale, roll over the knees, come up and back, child's pose. My new favorite variation of child's pose, I've been doing this a lot in my classes. Hook the elbows on the mat. Walk them in very close to the ears. Palms pressed together at the nape of the neck. Let the hips drop down. You can inch the elbows forward and in and find a big, beautiful stretch through the triceps and breathe for 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly release the hands. Inhale up through tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips for downward facing dog. Woo! You might feel some stiffness in the legs, especially if this is your first downward facing dog of the day. So just pedal it out here. Then one knee at a time as you press one heel at a time towards the earth. Some people call it pedaling out, some people call it walking the dog. You can exaggerate the motion to get the hips involved. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly walk the feet towards the hands for ragdoll. Bend the knees a lot, a lot, a lot. Grab opposite elbows, let the head hang. Roll forward and back, left and right. Circle the head gently in one direction and the other. Just like we did in downward facing dog, bend one knee at a time as you straighten each leg and breathe into the areas of your body that are calling for breath right now for 3. Two. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. You can take a little bounce if that feels good for you. Squeeze the inner thighs. Slide the hands up the legs until you find your halfway lift. Let the hands rest on the knees. Engagement through the glutes, the backs of the legs. The quads are slightly engaged here. Deep inhale. Exhale. Dive deep, but keep the glutes and the hamstrings engaged. You can just let them go, but let's keep them tight. All right, 2 more just like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, dive deep. Last one. Inhale, reverse a swan dive all the way up. And exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Come back to your intention. What positive word or phrase are you repeating through the class, through the day, through the week? Take a moment, eyes closed, to just land in this standing up position. You can rock forward and back on the toes, left and right. Maybe take a sigh. When you're ready, flutter the eyes open, float the hands down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, touch the palms overhead. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, swan dive down. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into a high plank position. Inhale, stay high or come to the knees if you choose. And on an exhale, very slowly lower to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale up through low cobra. We're going to pulse here. I love to do this in almost every class. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, lower down. You can start to take some weight into the hands. You can start to press yourself up a little bit more each time. Just follow the rhythm of your breath. Strong legs here. Keep them engaged. 2 more. Shoulder blades down. Heart lifted. Neck long. Last one in. And exhale. Inhale up through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. Let's open it up here. Right hip stacks over left. Right shoulder drops down. So look into the left side. You can roll out the right ankle in both directions. Let's take a big circle with that right knee in both directions. On an inhale, right leg reaches straight up towards the sky. And exhale, bring the foot between the hands. You can lower to the left knee and shimmy the foot between the hands. Plant the left hand just inside the right foot And on an inhale, right arm reaches up towards the sky. So gentle twist here. Gentle opening through the hip. Gentle strengthening through that front leg. So make sure the right knee stacked over the right ankle. Press down into the left hand to find a little bit of leverage to squeeze the shoulder blades. Really stack hand, shoulder, shoulder, hand. Hug the right knee in. Yes. 2 more deep breaths. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Gently float that hand down. Shift the weight back. Walk the hands back with you. This is a great time to use blocks if you'd like. Pull the right toes towards the face. The hips are going to swing to the left. Swing them back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. 2 more just like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come on forward into your low lunge. Plant the hands. Curl the left toes under. Straighten up that left leg. And step it back. High plank. Inhale, stay high or come to the knees. Exhale, lower to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uncurl the toes. Inhale up through your variation of low or high cobra. And exhale, gently lower. Inhale through tabletop or high plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. Second side, inhale, left leg lifts. Drop down into the right heel. Bend into the left knee as you stack the left hip over the right. Draw the left armpit down. Look under the right. Roll out the left foot in one direction and then the other. Roll out the left knee, big circle in one direction and then the other. Inhale, left leg lifts and step it through between the hands. Lower to the right knee and curl the right toes. Shimmy that left foot forward till it's aligned with your hands. Left knee directly over the left ankle. Bring the right hand just inside the left foot and start to open up, left arm up towards the sky. So left knee hugs in. There's a squeeze. It's abdominal. Press down into the right hand and follow that energy up and out of the right shoulder. Lift the left shoulder. Lift the left hand. Squeeze both legs to that center line and breathe for 3. You can look up towards that left thumb or down towards the right thumb. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And slowly release that left hand. Shift the hips back. Walk the hands with you. Use blocks if you'd like. Left toes towards the face. So feel right away the hips swing to the right. Pull them back to center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. 3 more. 2. Last one. And slowly come forward. Plant the hands. Curl the right toes under. Step back, downward facing dog. If you love vinyasas, if you love chaturangas, feel free to flow through a vinyasa here. Otherwise, from downward facing dog, please take child's pose. So you have the option for traditional child's pose with the elbows bent, forehead to the earth. The arms can be straight, but you want the elbows resting on the earth. You also have the option to come up onto some finger tents and lift the elbows and the wrists and find a nice shoulder stretch here. Or the option to hook the elbows, bring the palms together, the nape of the neck. Wherever you are, be here now, breathe here now. Come back to your intention for 4. 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Release the hands. Inhale up through tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees and look at the hands. Exhale, walk, or you can take a little hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, dive deep, forward fold. Inhale, reverse a swan dive all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart, close the eyes. Come back to your intention. Just taking a minute to ground each time we land here. To let the central nervous system calm down. Notice I'm not teaching this as a power yoga class today. Yes, we're still getting some strength and some work, but can we do it in a grounded, calm, centered way? The sighs always help. A sigh of relief, as Chachi would say. All right, flutter the eyes open. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, open the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale up to a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank position. You can always choose to come to the knees and lower all the way down and move through high cobra as we have been. You can move through a vinyasa, or you can go directly to downward facing dog. It's a choose your own adventure right now. From downward facing dog, take a sigh. Inhale, right leg lifts straight up and back. On an exhale, let's do knee to the nose. Get a little abdominals working here. Inhale, reach it up and back. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Inhale, reach. And exhale, knee to the right. Inhale, reach. And exhale, step it through. So you do have the option to come down to that back knee, just like we did on the first round. Or try it lifted. Left hand plants just inside that right leg. Knee over ankle. Right arm reaches, stacks. Left hand, shoulder, right shoulder, and hand, all stacked. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Hug the right knee in. Squeeze the inner thighs. Gaze up towards the right thumb or down towards the left. For 3, 2. Last one, big inhale. Or exhale. Slowly lower the right hand down. Shift the hips back. So taking pyramid pose here. This is a very wide stance, pyramid pose. If the hips are swinging off to the side, you can step the left foot forward just slightly to bring the hips back to center. This is a great time to use some kind of support under the hands depending on your flexibility. Look, I just grabbed some pillows. They work fine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. So maybe your hands are up Maybe they're down on the ground. You can bring the left foot as close to the right foot as you need to be able to square the hips. And maybe the hands just come to that right shin. Maybe they come back behind that left leg. But really think about pulling the left hip forward, right hip back for a pyramid pose here. For 3. 2. Variation would be just where we were on the first round, down on the left knee, right toes lifted. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Slowly bend into that right knee. If you need to lift the left leg back up and off the ground, please do so. Plant the hands. Step it back. Go right to down dog or flow through vinyasa. And you also have this option to keep the right foot lifted. And moving. And meeting in downward facing dog. Sigh here. Big inhale. And exhale. Second side. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to the nose. Inhale, reach it up and back. Exhale, knee to the right elbow. Inhale, reach it up and back. Exhale, knee to the left elbow. Inhale, reach. And exhale, step it through. So again, you can come back down onto that right knee if you choose. Make sure to shimmy the left toes forward so that we're stacked, knee over ankle. Plant the right hand. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Press down into the right hand to lift up through the left. Notice this is strengthening and lengthening at the same time. And breathe. For 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Slowly lower the left hand down. We're going to shift it back through pyramid pose. So you can take this very wide stance. I happen to be pretty flexible. I've been doing this for over 10 years. If you need to come into a shorter stance, step the right foot forward, square the hips. So the feet are in 2 separate lanes. Right toes pointing towards the right corner edge of the mat, left toes pointing forward. And again, you have the option to use blocks, books, pillows, whatever you need to lift yourself up. Big inhales. And exhales. Let's do 3 more. For 3. 2. Last one. Slowly bend into the left knee. Step the right foot back. Plant the hands. Go right into downward facing dog. Or if you're practicing chaturanga, please feel free to do that. If you would like more instruction on chaturanga, that's more of a conversation for a private session. Please let me know. And from downward facing dog, please find child's pose. So you've seen the options for child's pose. I'm going to add one more option here of bringing the palms face up, back by the feet. Let the shoulder blades drop. Come back to your intention. And come back to the self-soothing, the calming of the central nervous system for 4 deep breaths. Three. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. Plant the hands up and overhead. Inhale up through tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Let's take a sigh here together. Big inhale. And exhale. We're going to hop through seated. Inhale, bend the knees and look at the hands. And on an exhale, hop or walk into a seated position. So scooching towards the front of the mat, gently roll down onto the back, hug the knees in. You can rock them side to side. Make some circles with the knees in one direction and the other. Bring the arms to cactus or field goal arms. Take a nice deep breath. And on an exhale, drop the knees to the right. Allow yourself to rest here in the supine twist. You can do all the stacking of the knees and the squeezing of the shoulder blades and really settling in, or not. But once you have, if you do, please just allow yourself to surrender. To let gravity do the work for you here and breathe. Two more slow deep breaths. Last one. When you're ready, press into the backs of the hands, squeeze the shoulder blades. Squeeze the inner thighs together, engage the abdominals, and come on back through center. If you need to adjust your center, please do so. Find one more inhale. And on an exhale, drop the knees to the left. So again, you can make all the adjustments, all the cues that you'd like, if that's within your practice. Or not, because we're all going to meet after we settle in with a deep sense of surrender. To let gravity do the work for you here. Soothing the central nervous system instead of activating it. So focusing more on the exhale. Can you soften even more into gravity? Two more deep breaths. When you're ready, press into the backs of the hands. Squeeze the shoulder blades to the earth. Squeeze the inner thighs, the lower belly, and slowly come back up to center. Find your center. And take happy baby. Grab a hold of the outside edges of the feet. Draw the knees down towards the floor. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Take a moment to just land here before we start moving. Lengthen through the back of the spine, the crown of the head, and really feel the support of the earth all along the spine. The feet are over the knees and flat, as if they could be standing on the ceiling in this moment. So we're talking about baby's ability to be soothed by another being, especially those first 2 or 3 months. And then all of a sudden they begin to be able to self-soothe. And that's around the same time they get really curious about life and embodying that self-soothing, that curiosity as you start to extend one leg at a time and draw the other leg in, rock side to side. Think about any happy babies you've had the pleasure of knowing in your life or being. Maybe you had a really happy childhood. Or maybe you've just seen a happy baby at the grocery store. And I always like to remember that this pose is called Happy Baby, but really what the babies are doing is trying to taste their toes. They're in that kind of oral tactile phase. And it always makes me giggle. If you're working through this, extending one leg at a time, you might find one side's tighter than the other. Feel free to pause there and take a breath or two. Feel free to keep moving and rocking side to side. And feel free to take any last poses that your body's calling for. We're going to be moving here into our final relaxation pose quite shortly. For 3. 2. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. And when you're ready, finishing up any of those last poses that your body's calling for. And start to find your way into your final relaxation pose. You can place a blanket on the belly if you like. That can kind of help soothe. Even a pillow works. If you are going to lay with your head on a pillow, please make sure it's very thin because we don't want to extend the neck too far forward. And you don't have to take final Shavasana on the back. I mean, Shavasana is on the back, but I like to think of it as just our final relaxation pose. And it can be any pose that you're comfortable finding stillness in. So if you have pain in your lower back when you lay flat on your back, just bring the feet up on a chair or a couch or a pillow or bolster under the knees. But wherever you are, find your way to settle in here. Now I teach these full body relaxations at the end of most yoga classes, not all of them, but most of them. And this time I invite you to really take it in and remember it as a tool that you can use for a full body relaxation if your central nervous system starts to get overactivated, if things start to escalate. It's hashtag stop, drop, and yoga, right? So just pay attention to this final relaxation. You don't have to memorize the words, just get the feel of it and know that this is a tool that you can use off the mat, outside of a classroom setting. If any trauma comes up, to bring it back into rest and peace and release. Bring all of your awareness down to your toes. Relax the toes. Relax the feet. Relax the ankles. Relax the shins and the calves. Relax the knees. Relax the inner and outer thighs. Relax the hip flexors or groin area. Relax the outer hips and around into the glutes or buttocks muscles. Relax through the abdominal area, the psoas, the lower abdominals, the pelvic floor, the pelvis and hip joints, even the root softens and relax. Relax through the abdominal cavity as you really feel a softening, a deepening, a sweet heaviness of the internal organs. Relax the diaphragm. The lungs and the ribs. Even soften and relax the intercostal muscles between the ribs. And into the heart. Allow your heart to soften and relax. Even in these times of unknown, what does it mean to you to have a soft heart? Relax into the chest or pectoral muscles, into the armpits and down the side bodies to the lower back. Soften and relax the lower back. Soften and relax the middle back. And the upper back. Let the shoulder blades melt into the earth. Relax across the tops of the shoulders, into the biceps and triceps. Relax the elbows, the forearms, the wrists. Relax the backs and the palms of the hands, through the fingers, even that meaty part of the thumbs, and into the tips of all 10 fingers. Can you feel that gentle pulsation, that life force, prana or chi in the tips of the fingers? And slowly allow your awareness to travel, a deep relaxation coming with it, from the tips of the fingers, back up through the fingers and the hands, the wrists, the lower arms, elbows and upper arms. Relax down the collarbones and up the front of the neck, around the sides of the neck and up the back of the neck. Relax all the way up the back of the neck to the crown of the head. Relax the skull and the scalp. Even feel a sense of relaxing your hair. And into the forehead, let the forehead melt. Melt through the temples, the sides of the head, the ears and into the lower jaw. Relax all the way down the lower jaw to the chin, the lips, the tongue. Even relax the teeth and the roof of the mouth. From the roof of the mouth through the sinuses to the nose and cheeks. Relax across the nose and cheeks. And into the eye area, relax the eyebrows, the eyelids, the circular muscles that line the eye sockets. Even the eyeballs relax and sink deep. There's a gentle inwards and upwards rotation of the eyes. Nothing forced, totally natural as your awareness comes to the center of the brain at the tippy top of the spinal column. Relax the brain as a muscle, feel it soften. And come into that state of just complete and utter surrender. Surrender the body from action into stillness. Surrender also the mind from action into stillness. And allow yourself to just be your essence, your energy, your spirit for just 5 deep breaths. Get into the core of who you are. 4. 3. Last one, big inhale. And exhale. When you're ready, starting to integrate once again body, mind, and spirit. Remembering your intention as you very slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, the wrists and the ankles, and move the head from side to side. You can reach the arms up overhead, the feet down below. Take a nice full body stretch on the inhale. And exhale, soften. Bend one knee at a time. Bring your feet to the floor. And roll through either side, through the fetal position. Allow yourself to rest here. Allow yourself to be self-soothed, self-comforted. In this moment, can you be self-spooned? Sensation of cuddling yourself to calm your central nervous system. And with a smile in your heart and on your lips and your intention and your mind, very gently begin to press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall and bring the palms to press together at heart center. Sealing our class with 2 cleansing breaths and 1 Om. Allow this Om to fill your space, to cleanse and close the space and place and time that you've gathered together for yourself today. In through the nose and out through the mouth. This time sigh. This time thumbs to the heart, lips, and forehead. Remind us to keep peace, especially in these times, to keep peace in our hearts, in our words, and in our thoughts. As we bow to each other, it is to every other human being, regardless of race, sex, gender, ethnicity, whatever it is that makes us perceive that we are different. When we bow to each other, it is very simply the life force energy within me honors the same life force energy within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Claudia and Scott and Chachi and Emily. For a moment, Bipin, my yoga teacher, was tuned in. Bipin, if you're still there, send a comment and say hi. I would love to bring you on and just chat with you for a minute, or maybe we can set that up for another time, like a interview the guru vibes. Please let me know what came up for you through class, if you feel like sharing your intention, if you have any special requests for types of yoga classes or specific poses, anything moving forward, know that I'm here for you. I'm also available to talk about trauma resources, coaching, one-on-one sessions, and please share this video with anyone that you think might benefit. I did a pretty gentle class today, so it should be accessible to anyone. Oh, you're welcome, Claudia. Thank you all so much. I'll see you hopefully on Friday morning, 9 a.m. I will say I am camping on Thursday night and trying to get back to the internet by this time on Friday morning. So hopefully I'll be able to make it. If not, so it is. That's a beautiful thing about teaching on my own time. But I am offering that fire ceremony on Friday night, which is in person in Denver if you'd like to join. I'll also be posting that on Facebook Live or Zoom. I haven't decided yet. But if you're interested, let me know, because I'm going to make a little group so I can send out logistics. And we'll do some movement then. So for sure, Friday night. Okay, I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.